So, let's see, I'll draw, oh no, I'm just going to make something up. First thing, you want to start with a circle. And you want to picture the composition in your head. How do you want the final piece to look? You can picture it in almost lines that you can't see onto your paper, if that makes sense. So, I then draw a line down the center of the circle to show where I want the center of the face to be. I will come off here, and this is going to be a manga style drawing, if you didn't already guess, because that's what everything is these days. And I'm going to bring in a cheek, a chin, a jaw. Now, obviously, I didn't make the circle quite big enough, so I'll just make it bigger now. I only just started actually putting these kind of lines in. Anyway, ear towards the top of the jaw. The lines go that the ear will, the top of the ear will be at the top of the eyebrow, the bottom of the ear will usually be at the bottom of the nose, and I just have to kind of change the ear as I'm drawing the face, because I never have a plan for proportions ahead of time. This will be an original character, this isn't a fan art. What character, I don't know, I'm just kind of drawing. So, I'm going to start with the mouth, and I bring in lines darker on one side and then fading to light. I rarely close my shapes. The reason I do this is it just gives it more of the impression that it's a moment in time. You want all of your art to look like it's just a moment in time, rather than a drawing of something or a portrait. So I start with the bottom of the nose and work up the bridge, and I bring in a shadow. My light source is going to be about here. And don't worry about the sloppiness of your sketch, or correcting your sketch, or erasing anything. Just leave it the way it is first, then when you ink it is when you can touch it up. The more you erase, the more bad habits you form. So, I'm bringing the eyebrows to the top of this line. And then, you can designate lines for where you want the eyes to go. I usually don't, but I will, just for the sake of showing you. Start seriously with lines, not with circles or anything else. Now, because there's a slight upward view on this face, the bottom line of this eye is going to come in and, like, up a little bit. I start the outer edge of the pupil, have it look over. While the light source is over there, the highlight is over here. Whatever. I'm gonna keep it. I like to shade in the pupil darker at the top in gradients and kind of lighter towards the bottom. I don't know why I do this. I'm sure there's no scientific reason. I'm self-taught. There are professionals that would probably criticize this, but that's okay. So, I'm going to have the eyelashes point this way a little bit to really keep the direction of the gaze this way. I'll bring in a few coming down so it still kind of flows with those lines. Now with eyebrows, I like to draw them in the way that the hair would actually move. I also do eyebrows in a slight gradient. It's not necessary to shade in the pencil stage, but it makes your picture a little more cohesive. So, the hairline comes in about here. And a note on proportions of the face, the eyes are usually in the middle of the head. And this line is kind of not quite where the head really is. Anyway, start the roots of the hair. They come up and then down. I'm going to have the hair kind of flow. Some of it will move back, some of it out. Gives the impression of more motion. I don't ever leave my hair laying flat. Unless I'm trying to give a stale, almost eerie picture, I usually keep it in some dramatic motion. Then, I'm going to come in with the neck at about this point at the chin. Then here's the collarbone. Bring some hair over the shoulder. And usually you want to map out your bodies, which actually I'm going to start doing. So this is where I'm going to want my torso to be. I usually draw a kind of odd triangular shape for the torso. And then the stomach is going to be pushing forward a little bit. And I use a circle to represent that. And then the hips are represented with a box. And then here's where the thighs will be. The waist isn't going to be that small, that's just a reference for the waist. So, I'm just roughly laying out the form of the body before I actually start to add the clothes. So here's where the shoulder is going to be, even though it's not going to show there. It's good to map out where you want it. It's about the elbow, about the hand. I'll have separate tutorials on drawing hands. Okay. So I just kind of laid out some shapes on the arm. I really hope laid is a word. Probably isn't. Okay, and I'm going to do slightly darker lines around the contour of where the actual outer lines are going to be. Then I'm going to erase them to tidy them up when I get to that point. I'm going to have this be kind of a modern, normal person rather than some freaky anime thing. Gonna give her some, maybe some, oh man, some rolled up sleeves. Then, once you have the body, you can figure out where you want the hair to go. I don't want that line. Okay. Now we have the messy portion of the sketch laid out. Now I'm going to clean up the sketch. So I'm going inside the lines that don't actually need to show and erasing. Wow, I totally forgot to draw the hand. I'll go back and do that. Get rid of some of the face lines as you see fit. Helps a little. And for the hand, just designate where you want the knuckles to be and just kind of map it out. And I only use 2 joints in the fingers of most of my anime looking characters because I think it just looks better. I know it's silly, but at least I admit that I know that's incorrect, anatomically speaking. But then again, very few things in anime are anatomically correct. Okay, now that we have that, it's time to move on to the inking stage.